Welcome to the Birthing Podcast. I am Kim, your host, and I have set out into the world to explore what daring to be sensitively wild in a world on fire can feel like. If you're here, it is probably because you too have been hearing the calling. A calling home to what it means to be human, interconnected, alive. A calling for change and responsible action in resonance with life. Let this podcast inspire you on your and our path into wholeness. If you want to set an intention, take a deep breath, pause, and let your inner verse speak. And when you're ready, let's dive in. I am back and I'm so glad I'm here. I'm really grateful for all the people who reached out to me after listening to my first episode, saying that they felt inspired. They felt seen. They wanted to hear more. Here I am. Oh, damn, my necklace. Just pure magnetism. Okay. If not, it's going to be magnetized to my microphone all the time. So, again, I'm reaching out to you out of an impulse, a desire to share. I just came back from a 10-day festival. It was 5 days building up, 3 days festival, and about 3 days build down again. And when I came back, I think that's where I want to start the share. When I came back, I received from my partner, my roommate, my yoga students, an immediate response that I have changed, that something about me is different. Some said, I'm shining more, I'm more here, more expressive. And I was like, yeah, yeah, agreed. A lot of things are shifting right now. And I would love to take you into that journey because I believe that by sharing and by shining my light, I want to give you permission to do the same. Because it's not only about permission, it's, to me at least, it's about being in service and stepping into a responsibility to serve the world, to serve life, and to really intuit how life wants to flow through us. And it's not in the way internalized capitalism and all the other isms taught us. It's not by keeping us small. Quite the opposite. There might be shares that are triggering to you because of some parts that don't feel integrated yet. And I want you to know that I'm there with you. And again, that whatever you pick up on in this share, in this episode, is something that you recognize in me, and therefore something that I mirror back to you that you are too. So anything that resonates, anything that doesn't, is an invitation to inquire deeper, to integrate as part of you. Yeah, my time at the festival was one of making myself be seen more for all that I'm becoming, sensitively wild. I packed some of my flyers, my business cards, and I just trusted that whatever frequency I've been stepping into the last few months was going to be enough to carry me through this experience. I started to tap into much more self-love and self-acceptance. That has also allowed me to be within capacity much more, and to allow and let others shine as well. Everything started with a little sharing of a newly made friend at that festival. And she said, Kim, my whole life I was so concerned with thinking I'm not enough that I completely forgot that actually it's my fear of being too much. And that deeply resonated with me. I've spent a lot of time working out the why am I not enough? Who else can I be for you? Yeah, acting out of scarcity, of lack of. And now I'm coming to a new chapter in my life, perhaps a deeper layer, perhaps just another perspective on the same thing, probably that makes me realize that I am now confronted with the fear and the question, what if I'm too much? What if my light that I shine is simply too much to take? And to be honest, for some people, maybe for most people, it's going to be too much to take. For the system, it's too much to take. I cannot find a job that suits me, that suits my suit. And it would be terrible if I tried to find something, because that would be to dim my light, to fit into something that's not me. The fear of my own greatness has kept me in relationships where I played the small part and the less and not enough part. When in fact, when I was looking in the mirror, I would recognize and see my greatness quite often, but know that, or I believed that my partners at that time would not be able to hold my greatness, to be with that. I was basically caging myself in from the inside out and the outside in, choosing relationships that would increase the not enoughness or the too muchness. And the more I step into the frequency and the embodiment of the sensitively wild, the more it is about a responsibility and less of a permission. It started with giving myself the permission to speak about my business more, to speak about my needs and my boundaries more, to say no and prioritize certain activities, certain peoples over others from a loving heart. And as I just said, at some point came the realization that it's a deep responsibility to do that. It's inevitable. And when something becomes inevitable, there is no turning back. Of course, there's a cycle of remembering and forgetting and remembering and forgetting, evolving, spiraling, true. But it's inevitable. You shining your light and becoming more of you, of your essence, of what you're meant to be as part of this web is inevitable. because it's your responsibility. And so the more I stepped into my responsibility, and this frequency, the more I started to crack open. So when light wants to shine through, there is a cracking happening. There is a breaking happening. There is rupture. And that's something I would like to tend to for a moment. Because the way you're seeing me here right now is one color of many on this palette. There is space, a lot of space for grief, for loss, anger, sadness. The cracking open of old identities, old ways of being, of relationships, of places. It's really real. And it takes more or less time. So I also want to take off the pressure here. If you are noticing that perhaps now there comes a thought of, oh, I know this to be true, but I have not followed through yet. It's inevitable, and it comes in the rhythm and the pacing of your body, of your being. As much as you have capacity to change and transform, as much as your nervous system has the space to transform, that's going to be the dictating rhythm of transformation. So be easy on yourself. Some cracks happen really quickly, and in my experience, they're also quite painful. Well, actually the slow ones are also really painful. They're all painful? No, they don't have to be. They actually don't have to be. It's kind of a liberating pain. But sometimes the liberation, the feeling of liberation just comes a few moments, days, years after. And the cracking open, I see it as a two-way thing. There is conditioned and internalized beliefs that are playing into the keeping ourselves small. Like, what if I say I know who I am and what I want to be, but then I don't follow through? So what if I fail? Or what if people won't like me for who I am becoming? What else feels true? What if I can't handle my own greatness? That's a big one. What if I'm not ready to be this great? And sometimes we have choice in that, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we step into our own light faster than we think we were ready to do this whole magical thing, and then we're there and the fears pop up. And then there's also the other side. The fact that the reality that we live is a construct, is a mirror of who we are in that moment. So yes, there will be people who are scared, deeply scared of your becoming, if only you step into your light. I have had several conversations with my partner over the last few months, and him admitting that he's scared of what's ahead of me, of who I am becoming, of not catching up, of splitting paths. And that he is actively, consciously and unconsciously, here and there, sabotaging. And I do the same thing for him, of course. So I'm just saying that this is a field. This is not only inside of you and personal work that has to be done. This is something that is deeply relational. Shining your light and being yourself is a deeply relational act of love and self-love, of liberation. It's not only partners, it's also friends, it's the system that constantly message or send you that message that if only you dare, if you dare to shine your light, let me tell you, you're going to be excluded. You're going to be burned. You're not going to belong anymore. How will you survive? Are you sure? And then comes in the part that, fuck, it's inevitable. At the festival, I made the beautiful experience of witnessing others in their light. And it also brought up memories of my old self, not being able to handle and hold the light of others. Because I believed they were dimming my light. They were too much. You get the thing. Because I was confronted with my limits, with my internalized beliefs, with my reality that just doesn't fit with several people shining at the same time, with several people being themselves at the same time. It's just not possible. There's not enough space for everyone to be themselves. And I made this experience now more clearly than ever to let everyone be themselves and even support them in shining more. And so I can only be deeply, deeply grateful for all the beings that keep shining their own colors, enriching my own color palette, my own reality, and cracking open the spaces between the colors just to come up with a completely new, slightly different taste of groundedness, of attractiveness, of whatever we see in others that maybe for a moment we think we don't hold in ourselves. But the very fact that we can see it means that we have it as part of our reality. Means that we are it. As above, so below, as within, so without. Mic drop. Okay, this is it. This is it. I'll see you when I see you. And as always, feel free to reach out. I really, really love hearing from you. If you have any questions, any contemplations, any co-creation that wants to happen and emerge from this, reach out to me. You know where to find me.